It's not true at all. Like, look at Butcher, for example. He's the one that always comes up. Oh, well, you know, he wouldn't win if he didn't have a purple hammer. The dude won with booyahs and everything before that. Like, the guy won so many regionals and a couple of different national titles with 900 global bowling balls before he ever even joined and started throwing the purple hammer. So, all right. So, we're going to finish up the series. I was doing a 3-part series on these urethane balls, the purple hammer, on basically all urethane balls for that matter. And we're going to dive into what I actually think, what my opinion is of urethane, what my opinion is of the use of it, and what my opinion is of all of the above, of everything that's going on with that. So stay tuned. All right, so there's a little bit of misconception here. I've got some people that were mad at me thinking that I was the one that originally started this whole thing with the purple hammer. That's not at all what happened. I had nothing to do with this. In fact, I didn't know that that all took place a year ago where people were complaining about that. But here's the facts. I'm going to give you some facts here. And I'm going to give you some facts with also I'm going to give you my opinion on these things here. The fact is the purple urethanes are legal. They're going to be legal. They'll continue to be legal. There's nothing wrong with them, okay? There's nothing there. The only reason I even made the original video was to, I guess, talk about, it was just a conversation piece. It was just that conversation where people are talking about, wow, these balls are so much better. Why? And you got some people that are saying they're illegal. Well, I'm here to clear the air. They are not. If you go and watch Ron Hicklin's video, he even shows he punctures, he takes a durometer to a couple of them, and they're perfectly legal. You know, so there's nothing there to even continue with. So we're not going to go any further into that because it doesn't matter. The purple hammers are legal. Now let's talk a little bit about, do I think they are a necessity? Do I like urethane? Do I hate urethane? I don't not like urethane. I actually do like urethane. What I don't like is I don't like how they transition the lanes so much. So when you watched part 2, it showed some of the problems that it created for people who were following and wasn't using urethane. So when you go to those pairs, you're seeing an awful lot of hang down lane, and then you got to make adjustments, and sometimes 4 or 5 frames later, it's a little bit too late if you don't stay ahead of it. So the way you combat that is you take a bunch of urethane yourself and you get really good with it. So that's what I've done. I've tried to, I don't know that I'm really good with it, but I've got 4 or 5 different ones now that I'm taking with me down to Columbus to prepare for, you know, the urethane that people are going to use. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Now let's talk about the hardness. Some of the people were trying to say that some of them were softer and harder. The tests were done that obviously when you heat something up, they get a little bit softer. You cool them down, they get a little bit harder. So that's all going to be a variance all the time, okay? Now, let's just throw some numbers out there. The standard number is 72. 72, the ball can't be any softer than that technically, but there's a variance of 4. You can go below 72 because there is some leeway there. There's basically, because of the durometer variance, you can go down to 68. You just can't have anything below that. So 68 is basically the hard number. Now here's the thing. Even if you have a 66 compared to a 72, you're not going to see any difference on the length. And if you do, it's only going to be with specto data or something really, really minute. It's going to be a couple of inches difference. It's not going to be anything that's going to make a huge difference. You know, so when you're talking about these guys that have an advantage because they can throw that ball, that's not true. That's not true at all. Like, look at Butcher, for example. He's the one that always comes up. Oh, well, you know, he wouldn't win if he didn't have a purple hammer. The dude won with booyahs and everything before that. Like, the guy won so many regionals and a couple of different national titles with 900 global bowling balls before he ever even joined and started throwing the purple hammer. So, you know, that's a little frustrating for me to hear people say that he's only successful because of the purple hammer, and that's absolutely not true. He's just smart enough and he's good enough to make some tricks and do some things with his hand that he's able to create some things that a lot of other lefties and a lot of other righties can't even do. So he's able to use those bowling balls more frequently than somebody else. So to say that he wouldn't be as successful without him, I think that's a bit of a stretch. So let's give Jacob a little bit of credit on how well he's bowled and some of the events that he's absolutely dominated. You know, so, and you even look at last week. Last week he struggled big time. You know, it was one of those weeks. So to say the bowling balls are what make him that much better, I wouldn't go that far, because if that was the case, he wouldn't have struggled, or he'd never struggle, because he's got those bowling balls at his disposal. So let's just kind of drop that a little bit. But as far as urethane goes, 100% on board. Let's go. Let's use urethane. I don't care what anybody says. It is a tool for all players, but I wanted to make sure to explain why some people think the way they think, why some people say it's a crutch, and I understand and I can partially agree with why, you know, they say it's a crutch, because some people just, that's their first go-to. If they can't get the ball to slow down lane, and they can't get the ball to stop hooking so much, they just go to urethane instead. Totally get it. So it is what it is. That's what people do. That's what a lot of the professionals do. And that's what you're starting to see a lot of amateurs and even league players do. So, but I have another video coming that will show you the difference in all those urethanes and all that. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up. But I just wanted to touch base and finish this whole thing out and let you guys know that there is no problem with those urethane balls. There's nothing going on with them. None of them are illegal. It was just speculation that some of them might have been better than other ones. So there might have been a batch that was better. It was the same thing when the IQ Tours came out. The old IQ Tours, people are always still looking for the old original serial numbers from the IQ Tours, because people believe that the original IQ Tours are still better than the ones that are being made today. Is that true? I don't know. That's all opinion. Now, people have the opinion that the original Purple Hammers are better than the later edition ones. So that's all that is. That's all that was. There's nothing wrong with them. So to get your facts straight, there's not going to be, if you do see a performance difference between a 6, 7, 8, or a 9, it's not going to be by the naked eye. It's going to be pretty much by taking some data and actually putting them on the lanes with Specto and seeing the little bit of the actual one board of overall more hook, if there is even one more board overall hook. Because if you think about the hardness, we're pretty well, you know, bottomed out on that. If we go any softer, bowling balls are going to roll like crap. And if we go any softer, you're going to start seeing flat spots, and they're going to get chewed up and beat up too much. So it doesn't really benefit you. We're already at basically, I don't want to say we're at the max capability of hook out of these, because they keep proving us wrong. They keep making them hook more and more every year. But I can't see them getting any better than what they are now as far as cover stock technology. Now, it might. We don't know. We'll see. These guys are really smart. They're going to continue to come out with bowling balls, and they're going to continue to re-innovate some different types of resins and different types of added particle materials and stuff that go into the cover stocks. But when you think about overall hardness of a bowling ball being affected, you're not going to really see a big effect until you start getting into higher numbers. If you go from a 72 to an 84, because basically an 84 or into the 90s is plastic, you're going to see a difference in performance there, because now your footprint is much, much smaller. But you start going into the softer ones, anything from 70, I'll say 74 down to 68, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think you're going to see a performance difference out of those bowling balls. I could be wrong, but that's just the way I see it. I feel like we're pretty well bottomed out when it comes to, you know, hardness there. If we go any softer, we're going to start seeing some problems. So I can't see it being a benefit to being any softer. Overall hook sometimes can actually hurt you. You start seeing those balls hook earlier because they're super soft. You know, it's a different day and age when they used to have the soakers, when people would literally soak their bowling balls in oil or in water or whatever, just to soak them up to make them a little bit softer, or acetone or whatever. It doesn't do you any good today, because early hook is not your friend nowadays. Even with urethane, you don't want it to go crazy in the front part of the lane. You just want it to stand up and then start to continue to roll off of it. That's it. But anyway, so we're rambling now, but that's all I got. I just wanted to touch base on this, let you guys know what was really going on there, and we're going to kind of let this thing die out, because it was a year ago. I didn't know it was over a year ago. I just heard some of the grumblings, you know, over the TOC, and people were like, hey, you should make a video on this. So I'm like, oh, okay, why not? So just to clear the air on that, hope you guys enjoyed the little conversation that it was. But go ahead, buy the 8s, buy the 9s. You're not gonna see a difference in the 8s and the 9s compared to the 6s and 7s, not in my eyes anyway. So, and you'll see in the video that I have coming up, mine is an 8, and it's still, you know, compared to the other ones, it still outperforms, in my opinion, the other ones. So anyway, I'm out of here. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Comment below. Let me know what you think, I guess, and make sure to like and share and do all that good jazz. But I'm out. See you later.